Did Toronto's $175 million Quickley deal just break the entire NBA market? ESPN says this contract is forcing every young guard to demand Quickley money while teams refuse to pay, one deal creating league-wide chaos. What's up, Raptors Nation? Quick Court here with a Quickley contract breakdown that's got the whole league talking. Let's dive into how this deal is affecting everyone. Let me start by saying this. I'm genuinely a huge fan of Immanuel Quickley as a player. When we got him in that OG Anunoby trade, there were plenty of people calling him the dark horse of the entire deal. The logic made sense. He hadn't been given the green light to truly shine in New York, so why couldn't he break out in Toronto, where we desperately needed a new era point guard to succeed the Kyle Lowry and Fred VanVleet eras? And you know what? Quickley definitely showed flashes. When he was healthy and clicking, you could see the outside scoring and offensive creativity that made him special. But here's where everything went sideways. And I mean sideways in the worst possible way. What do you think is more important for a $32.5 million per year player? Potential or actual production? Because that's the question that's haunting us right now. Quickley just couldn't stay healthy last season. We're talking about a guy who was supposed to be our cornerstone, racking up assists and dropping 15 to 17 points per night when he could actually get on the court. But does that really justify shelling out over $30 million annually? I don't think anyone with a straight face can look at what Quickley actually delivered and say, yeah, that's worth max player money. But here's where this story gets absolutely wild, and why the entire league is now dealing with the consequences of Toronto's decision. Because Quickley was able to push Toronto's front office to his desired number, other NBA players at his level are now using the Quickley contract as their benchmark to justify their own massive paydays. We're not just talking about a bad contract. We're talking about a contract that's actively sabotaging the entire restricted free agency market. How crazy is it that one team's overpay can literally break the financial ecosystem for the entire league? Look no further than Brooklyn Nets guard Cam Thomas, who's currently in a stalemate with his team over contract demands. Thomas doesn't consider himself inferior to Quickley, Tyler Herro, or RJ Barrett, especially considering what they're each being paid. Reports indicate Thomas is seeking $30 million per year, while the Nets offered him just $14 million annually for 2 years. Thomas is basically saying, if Quickley gets $32.5 million, I deserve that too. And honestly, I can understand why he'd think that way, even if I disagree with the logic. ESPN's Bobby Marks absolutely destroyed this contract on a recent YouTube video, and his comments are going viral for good reason. Here's exactly what he said. The Immanuel Quickley contract, that 5-4, what is it like, $150 million in bonuses and almost gets up to $160 million, has totally screwed up restricted free agency. Because that's where agents are looking at like the benchmark. Certainly Josh Giddey's like, I want that contract back. That number has screwed up a lot of things, and Marks didn't stop that. He went even harder. I don't think Toronto got enough heat for that number, because Immanuel Quickley is not a $32 and $33 million guy. Do you agree that Toronto should be getting more criticism for this deal? Drop your thoughts below, because this is getting spicy. When an ESPN insider who's been around NBA front offices is saying screwed up multiple times about one contract, that definitely means something went horribly wrong. And it's not just affecting Toronto, it's creating a domino effect across the entire league. Chicago Bulls guard Josh Giddey is reportedly still using Quickley's deal as justification for his own extension demands. Recent reports show Giddey and the Bulls are about $8 to $10 million apart per year in their negotiations, with Giddey seeking around $30 million annually while Chicago is offering closer to $20 million. Jonathan Kuminga's situation with Golden State has also been complicated by these inflated expectations. He was reportedly seeking $35 million annually and turned down a 2-year $45 million offer from the Warriors. Brooklyn's Cam Thomas is in a similar standoff, with his camp seeking $30 million per year, while the Nets have offered significantly less. But here's the problem. No team wants to pay that kind of money for non-star production. So we've created this weird standoff where restricted free agents are demanding Quickley money, but teams are refusing to pay it, creating a frozen market that's hurting everyone involved. The current RFA market has essentially been paralyzed because of this benchmark we set. Are we witnessing the unintended consequences of bad front office management spreading throughout the entire league? The scary part for us as Raptors fans is that this contract could completely blow up in our faces. We're paying starter money to a player who's shown he can contribute when healthy, but hasn't proven he can stay on the court consistently or elevate his game to true star level. And now every other team in the league is pointing to Toronto as the example of how not to handle restricted free agency. We've become the cautionary tale that agents use to justify massive contracts and that teams use to explain why they won't overpay. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you're enjoying this breakdown, because we're diving deep into the contracts that are shaping the entire NBA landscape. The ripple effects are already being felt throughout the current season. According to multiple reports, the entire 2025 restricted free agency class has been essentially frozen because agents are demanding quickly level contracts while teams are refusing to pay them. Players like Thomas, Giddey, and Kuminga are all stuck in this weird limbo that Toronto essentially created. As of now, most of these high-profile RFAs remain unsigned or are considering playing on their qualifying offers rather than accepting what they view as below-market deals. It's wild to think that one contract negotiation in Toronto is now affecting player movement and team building strategies across the entire NBA. That's the level of impact we're talking about here. What makes this even more frustrating is that Quickley's production doesn't really justify being the benchmark for anything. We're talking about a player who averaged 18.6 points and 6.8 assists in 38 games with us. Solid numbers, but not exactly superstar territory that warrants $35 million annually. But now every restricted free agent and their agent can point to Quickley and say, if he's worth that much, what am I worth? It's created this inflation bubble that's making it nearly impossible for teams to find fair value in the RFA market. Where do you think this leads? Are we going to see a bunch of players just take their qualifying offers and bet on themselves in unrestricted free agency? The most damaging part might be that this sets a precedent for future negotiations. Now every young guard who shows flashes is going to demand Quickley money, and teams are going to have to decide whether to overpay or lose talent. Bobby Marks was absolutely right when he said Toronto didn't get enough heat for this deal. We essentially broke the market and created chaos for everyone else. And somehow that story got buried under other NBA news. As Raptors fans, we need to be honest about what this means for our future. We've committed massive money to a player who's talented but injury prone, and we've made it harder for every other team to navigate their own roster construction. That's not exactly the kind of league leadership we want to be known for. The question now becomes, can Quickley actually live up to this contract and prove that Toronto was right all along? Or are we going to be stuck with one of the worst contracts in the NBA while dealing with the fallout from destroying the restricted free agency market? That's the reality we're facing as an organization. And as fans, we took a massive gamble on potential overproduction, and now the entire league is dealing with the consequences. Whether this ends up being brilliant roster construction or a catastrophic mistake remains to be seen, but one thing's for sure, we've definitely changed how restricted free agency works forever. What do you think? Did Toronto make the right call, or did we just create a mess that's gonna haunt us for years? Drop your predictions in the comments and let me know if you want me to dive deeper into any other contracts that are shaping the NBA landscape. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell, because we're always bringing you the analysis that cuts through the noise. This is Quick Court, and we'll catch you in the next one.